Hey everybody, how's it going? This is John Breed and it is June 16th, 2019. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you all enjoyed your day. And I have a lot to talk about here tonight involving the Iowa Speedway weekend. We had Xfinity action and Truck Series action here this weekend. A one-day doubleheader, I might add, because last night's truck race did not take place because of rain. But the big story that I've talked about here today involves Ross Chastain. If you guys watched today's truck race, Ross Chastain pretty much dominated the race, led over 100 laps, won both stages, and won the race initially. But Ross Chastain and his number 44 truck was disqualified after he failed post-race inspection, and the win was given to the second place finisher at the time, now the first place finisher, Brett Moffitt. Brett Moffitt won today's truck race at Iowa Speedway after Ross Chastain failed post-race inspection. And here I'm going to read the NASCAR.com staff report. This is the headline. Moffitt declared Iowa winner after number 44 truck fails post-race inspection. The number 44 Nice Motorsports race-winning truck of Ross Chastain failed post-race inspection at Iowa Speedway and was officially disqualified from Sunday's Gander Outdoors Truck Series race. NASCAR officials discovered the number 44 truck was too low in the front during post-race technical inspection, according to a NASCAR spokesman. Chastain will not receive credit for the victory and will be scored as earning last place points for the race. He will lose the points earned from the victory and 7 playoff bonus points as the result. The second place finishers in both stages received 10 race points associated with the respective stage wins, as well as the playoff point for a stage win. So Matt Crafton, who finished second in stage 1 initially, he has now been awarded the stage 1 win, while Ben Rhodes collected the same for Stage 2. The team can appeal the penalty in an expedited process up until noon Eastern on Monday, according to NASCAR. Nice Motorsports confirmed in an official team statement they will appeal the disqualification. And Nice Motorsports sent out a statement on their Twitter saying, "Our Nice Motorsports team works hard to ensure that our race trucks are within the confines of NASCAR's rules. Both of our Chevrolets passed opening and pre-race inspections. We believe that the number 44 truck sustained minor damage during the event, which left the truck too low following the race. We will appeal NASCAR's decision. Regardless of the outcome, this team will be prepared to go to Gateway and win again." Brett Moffitt was officially declared the winner of Sunday's M&M's 200 at Iowa, earning his first victory of the 2019 season with GMS Racing in his first season with the organization. Moffitt will also collect the $50,000 bonus for the Triple Truck Challenge program. He won this race last season as well. So that's the story, and that has been the major story out of this race weekend here at Iowa, and don't really have a lot else to say. I know a lot of fans are disappointed at what happened, myself included. I'm a pretty big Ross Chastain fan, and yeah, I mean, when I saw this, I was pretty disappointed. But and so the story here is that he suffered some damage during the race, and Nice Motorsports is claiming that is what caused the failure of the post-race inspection. So obviously they said in their statement they're going to appeal this decision. So we'll see where it goes from here. I don't know. Here's the thing. All I know about the rule is at the beginning of the 2019 season, they said if you're the race-winning car and you fail post-race inspection, you don't win the race, which was actually an old rule of NASCAR. What they used to disqualify the winner. In fact, the first NASCAR race ever was a disqualification Joe Weatherly, who initially won the first NASCAR race, was failed. He was disqualified. I don't know if it was a post-race inspection, but he was disqualified. It might have been something with his tires. I'm not even sure, but all I know is he was disqualified, and Red Byron won the first NASCAR race. So that's ultimately how the first NASCAR race was decided, was on a technicality. Well, not technicality, but a disqualification, I should say. But yeah, this is really interesting, and I guess we'll just find out more. Obviously, we'll know more tomorrow. And I mean, in my opinion, I think if there was, here's the thing: if this is true, if it's from the damage suffered during the race, and that's what caused it a failed post-race inspection, yeah, I agree. I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong to fail them for post-race inspection, but I can't really say. I mean, the rules are the rules. I guess we'll have to wait and see. My guess is this seems like a legitimate case to get this overturned, and I don't want to get fans' hopes up. I don't want to give, Ross Chastain fans hope here, but my prediction is I think this is going to get overturned. If they find the damage and see it was during the race and this is what caused it, then yes, I think that should be overturned, and perhaps it will be overturned. But yeah, Ross Chastain, and it's funny because I think it was just 2 weeks ago he declared for Gander Outdoor Truck Series points. Basically, he's now running for points in the Truck Series, and obviously his finishes before weren't going to count, so he had to start all over, and he has to make it into the top 20 to make it into the playoffs, because if you remember, he won Kansas earlier this year, so Ross Chastain is eligible for the playoffs, but he has to be within the top 20 in points, and after this win, he was only 14 points behind 20th place. So yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big decision, and I mean, for the Ross Chastain fans out there, I mean, if you're worried now that this this is going to cost him a spot in the playoffs, I mean, I don't want to jump ahead. Perhaps it could cost him a place in the playoffs if he doesn't get this win back, but I wouldn't be too concerned because, like I said, right after this win, he was only 14 points behind, so he was pretty much a shoo-in. So he's still got some races left. I think it's like 6 or 7 until the playoffs start. So he's got some time. I think he'll still be in the playoffs. He'll work up some good finishes and may even win again. So yeah, we'll see what happens. As far as Brett Moffitt goes, he has been chomping at the bit as far as getting his first win of the year, and he was right there with Ross Chastain for a few laps there, and then Chastain kind of drove off from him. I think it was around 30 or 40 to go that he was right on Chastain's bumper, and then all of a sudden Chastain just drove away from him. So and then he ended up winning the race, and then obviously we would learn later that Moffitt was declared the winner. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll know more tomorrow, and we'll see how the appeal process goes. So that's the update on Ross Chastain. The other big story coming out of the Truck Series race was Johnny Sauter. So during the race, Johnny Sauter got together a little bit with Austin Hill, and they were kind of beating on each other a little bit, and some hard racing, and at one point Austin Hill got the back of Johnny Sauter going into turn 3, and Sauter got spun around, got the wall, had some pretty significant damage, and under the caution lap, Johnny Sauter would hunt down Austin Hill and pretty much just pile drive him, pretty much just turn him right around, hooked him right in the left rear corner panel. And actually, as he is spinning around, he would then hit him right in his left side door. So after that, Johnny Sauter was parked. He was parked for the remainder of the race, and he during an interview, he gave pretty much no comment. So he was not happy with Austin Hill. And then Austin Hill said in his post-race interview that I'm not going to put up with it. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been a pretty big Johnny Sauter fan, but I mean, there's no reason for that. There's no reason to hit somebody under caution. If you have a problem with that guy, go talk to him after the race. I think that's how it should always be settled. I don't think you should tear up race cars. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you're going to tear up race cars, do it under the green flag, and not during a caution. That's just simply not right. And I'm sure there's going to be some sort of penalty handed down for that. There may have already been. I'm not actually sure, unless I may have missed something, but I believe that'll probably come out on like Tuesday, whether he gets a penalty or not, which I'm sure he will. He'll probably get a fine. I don't think he'll get suspended or anything, but I'm sure a fine is coming for Johnny Sauter. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. Most of these rivalries, these feuds, I should say, they get settled out between the drivers, but who knows? So that's the update there. There's the other big story coming out of the truck race. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the race results here. As far as the rest of the race goes, I actually missed a good bit of it. I was doing some Father's Day stuff. I was out. I watched about the last 50 laps. So as far as the race results, I'll take a look at it right here. The top 10 was Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes, Harrison Burton, Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen, Sheldon Creed, Matt Crafton, Chandler Smith, Raphael Lessard, and Todd Gilliland, the top 10. We had 11th through 20th. Brennan Poole, Austin Hill, Kyle Benjamin, Austin Wayne Self, Riley Herbst, Spencer Boyd, Natalie Decker, 17th. Jordan Anderson, Tyler Dipple, and Gus Dean. We have 21st through 30th. Mason Macy, Jesse Little, C.J. McLaughlin. I think that's how you say it. Sorry if I screwed up his name. Norm Bennon, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Tyler Hill, Johnny Sauter, Chad Finley, Trey Hutchins, and Juan Ma Gonzalez, 30th. And then rounding out the field, 31st, 32nd, Tyler Ankrum, and of course Ross Chastain earns last place. So yeah, that was the truck race, and of course this race took place on Sunday afternoon. It was supposed to take place last night, but it was postponed due to rain. So we get to this Xfinity race, which I thought was fine. It was kind of just a race, really not a lot happening, nothing to write home about. Christopher Bell won his fourth win of 2019, and once again racking up another win, showing that he's going to be a major championship contender this year. And he battled Cole Custer to get the win late in the race, and held him off on some restarts there late in the going, and he won. So another win for Christopher Bell. Cole Custer came up short. And yeah, so as far as the first stage went, Cole Custer pretty much just dominated. And I believe, yes, he actually lost the first stage. Yes, he did. He pretty much led the entire first stage, and then Christopher Bell passed him right at the very end on a late restart. There were some guys that stayed out. They were back in about 6th or 7th. Custer got through the traffic pretty quick, but Bell caught him. And in those last few laps of that stage, Christopher Bell would get by, and he would win the stage. Probably the biggest story in the stage was Tyler Reddick actually had a flat right rear, who I'm sure a lot of people thought Tyler Reddick was going to be up there with those guys, going to be up there with Bell and Custer like he has been all year, but tough break there for Reddick, and he would go, I think, 2 laps down. So, yeah, there were some incidents here. David Starr in the 52 had a pretty significant engine failure, blew up everywhere, and Joey Gase also got in the wall, as well as Vinnie Miller. It was a two-car wreck. Joey Gase got up there, turned it around, and Vinnie kind of had nowhere to go, and he got up in the wall as well. So, yeah, there you go. And stage 2, Christopher Bell basically put on a clinic. I'm pretty sure he led every lap, unless maybe some guys stayed out on a restart or whatnot. But he dominated that second stage, and Noah Gragson had problems. He had some sort of tire issue, and he had to come to pit road, make an unscheduled stop. So he was shuffled out. He was running pretty solid all race long, and yeah, tough break for Noah Gragson. Not exactly definite on what happened, but it was some sort of tire issue. And yeah, Christopher Bell pretty much dominated, and that was pretty much the story until about 30 or so odd laps to go, where Cole Custer was running in second, and he goes up into one, and he just barely scrapes the wall, and it slowed him down a little bit, but it brought out the caution, and surprisingly enough. But this should not have been a caution, first of all. I will say that. I know everybody loves restarts, but that should have not have been a caution. I mean, he barely hit the wall. I mean, he just rubbed up against it, and they threw the yellow. But anyway, the crazier thing about this was, so he brings out that caution. They come into pit for the last stop of the race. This is around 30 laps to go, and Cole Custer beats Christopher Bell off pit road. He wins the race off pit road. He's the leader on the restart. They get back going, and Custer held him off for about a lap, and Bell at one point came off 4, and he rubbed right up against him, got really loose. They were beating and banging. And, yeah, Christopher Bell nearly wrecked both of them there. And Bell took the lead, and there were a few more cautions, 2 more cautions to be exact. And on those restarts, Bell he'd be able to hold off Custer, and that was that. And Christopher Bell, a dominating performance. He led 186 of 250 laps. And Christopher Bell won the race. Cole Custer led 59 laps. Those were the only 2 guys that led laps in this race. Oh, sorry, Justin Haley actually led 5 laps. Those were the laps where he stayed out near the end of stage 1. So there you go. And yeah, not much of a race weekend in Iowa. Usually Iowa's actually pretty good, but just didn't really deliver this time, and nothing really to write home about. Christopher Bell improves to now 4 wins in 2019, and yeah, there you go. Cole Custer second. We had Justin Allgaier third, Harrison Burton fourth, and Zane Smith fifth. Harrison Burton, Zane Smith, great runs for those 2 guys. And Noah Gragson came back from issues earlier. He was 6th. With Chase Briscoe 7th. John Hunter Nemechek 8th. Michael Annett 9th. Austin Cindric 10th. We had 11th through 20th. Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clements, Justin Haley, Gray Golden, Tyler Reddick, Ray Black Jr., Josh Williams, Shane Lee, Joe Graff Jr., Tyler Matthews. And 21st through 30th, we have Chad Fincham, Ryan Repko, Ryan Ellis, Ronnie Bassett Jr., Stephen Light, Matt Mills, Mike Harmon, Stan Mullis, Garrett Smithley, and Ryan Sieg. Rounding out the field, Brandon Brown, which I'll get to here in a minute, Vinnie Miller, Joey Gase, David Starr, Morgan Shepard, Timmy Hill, Jeff Green, and Josh Balicki. So Brandon Brown had to get out of the car early after he had some engine problems, and the exhaust was getting up into the race car, and he definitely didn't want to sit in there with those fumes, and so he ended up pulling off the pace, and that was the end of his day. He had a bad engine failure, and didn't want to be breathing in all that exhaust. It seems to be happening a lot lately. It's happened to Denny Hamlin at the Coke 600, and then I think it happened to him again the next week, or at least almost happened. I think it was about to, whatever it was like the crush panel was caved in, and his crew actually fixed it up and to prevent it from happening again. But it almost happened, and so yeah, tough break for Brandon Brown, but glad to see he's all right. So next week we have Sonoma for the Cup Series, and as well as Gateway for the Truck Series. So I'll be back later on this week to preview that weekend. It is the last race for Fox. It is the last race for Darrell Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip calling his final Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race. Make sure to tune in. And that is all. Once again, happy Father's Day, and everybody have a great week.